But yeah, as Claudia mentioned, I'm Francis Beaumier. I'm a double living organ donor. So I donated my left kidney in 2023 and 60% of my liver earlier this year in February. And that puts me in kind of an elite group of about 300 people in the United States that have done that sort of thing. So kind of cool. And yeah, I did also recently decide to catapult myself off of my bike and fracture 3 of my ribs. So the moving gingerly has nothing to do with missing organs. It was just a moment of weakness on my part. Further disclaimer, it's weird. I'm Catholic, and in Catholic thinking we have this saying, if you can't reach gold in 7 minutes, stop boring. And here I've been given 15 minutes. You would think I'd have an eternity of time here. But I've actually had to cut out a lot of the play-by-play of my story because I've got so much to say about gratitude. So I guess that's just a teaser for pumping me full of questions when you have time here to do that. And also I have a little table afterwards that you can come visit me at. So we can definitely keep the dialogue going. But in my email footer these days at work, I have this rather cryptic little line at the very bottom, which aside from demonstrating that as an older millennial, I do know how to use emojis, it's kind of some of my core identities distilled into a few characters. So last time I was here, way back before the pandemic, I was here for Pride Month. I got to speak about my identity as a double rainbow, autistic and gay, so sharing 2 of those spectrums. Today we get to focus on the right half of being a double organ donor, or twice recycled, as one of the Facebook groups I'm a part of says. I don't really know how you're going to invite me again, because that's kind of the last of my email signature. Maybe I'll reinvent myself in my 50s. I don't know. But you know, when you think of gratitude in organ donation, you may think, well, shouldn't this talk be from the recipient? Well, there's my liver recipient to my right, your left, and Greg is incredibly grateful, as is his sister Ashley and his mom Debbie. But we're getting far too ahead of ourselves, because there's a lot to be grateful for as a donor, and I kind of want to take you through all of that. To do that, I'm kind of going to focus on the 4 pillars that you need to kind of be considered a worthy candidate. First one being you just need to make sure your financial footing is okay. Now, this is all free. It's the recipient's insurance pays for the testing and whatnot. There is grant funding available for travel and lost wages and whatnot, but still, none of that matters if the budget is tight to the point that you can't wait for the reimbursement check. So I sit here reflecting that, I definitely don't have my name on a building or anything like that, but I had the financial reserve that, this wasn't a concern for me from that perspective. Another aspect that we look at is your physical health. And I just kind of stand in awe that I passed 2 of the most thorough physicals in my life. The kidney donation physical is a 1-day process. Liver donation physical is actually 2 days of testing. And considering I graduated from college at 240 pounds, I'm just incredibly grateful for my progress to stay at a healthy weight and really take care of myself, and just grateful for that health. Now, I'm definitely not saying you can't donate if you've got some physical ailments. A lot of them are very treatable that you can work around. So don't let that stop you if you're considering it. But another thing you need is some good emotional health, emotional scaffolding. I'm far from perfect in this regard. Got, as you saw, some neurodivergence going on there. I I've got some anxiety, interesting relationship with food sometimes, but I also have the support network to deal with that. Regularly see a therapist. I've done a lot of self-reflection so that I've got some coping mechanisms. So I'm grateful that me and the care team saw that, I have the supports in there needed to make donation a possibility. And the fourth pillar I'm going to probably spend the bulk of my time here on is just having that support network, because it really does take a village. I've got Kevin right here in the crowd as part of my support network. Being raised Catholic, it kind of amazes me that anyone would go outside of their normal Sunday service. But here, Kevin from my church down in Kaukauna, the MCC church, immediately said, "Oh, well, I'm going to come hear you speak," even though this is outside of his theological wheelhouse slightly. But I feel like though I don't have my name on the building, I'm rich in all the relationships I do have. This is something I actually came to the conclusion of in my high school yearbook. I'm actually quoted there, but it takes big life events sometimes to really remind you of what you have and what to be grateful for. And as part of my journey along the way, I was able to grow some more relationships. So this is April on the left, and actually her kidney donor on the right. It was April's story that inspired me in the first place. She is about my age. Her plight for a kidney kept hitting me on Facebook and in email communications from Dignity, which is the LGBT Catholic organization that I'm a part of. And so her story inspired me to say yes. Now, this teacher of hers actually snuck in ahead of me because it took me forever to make that decision. So that was her donor, but my kidney actually went to her same hospital on the same day. So it's just one of those stories that you kind of, gosh, there's a lot more going on here than we realize. You stand in awe. But it was grateful to kind of get to know her. It was wonderful to get to kind of know her as part of this process, and to have someone, especially in the early days, on a similar recovery trajectory, so that, hey, pooping's really weird right now, right? Yeah, it is. Oh, thank goodness, it's not just me. Oh, so sorry. You're really never going to invite me back. I'm so sorry. Another person that showed up in my life is the gentleman to my right here. If you're recognizing the background, this is the DC Metro system. We actually did get to meet in DC at the end of last year. Because what do you do when you're having trouble processing political events at the end of 2024? You take an emergency trip to DC. But Kendall appeared in one of the Facebook groups I'm a part of, and just really, he donated a couple years ahead of me his kidney, and he just really served as a wonderful mentor and resource for me through the process. This is an internet stranger, and he threw together a care package that arrived for me for my kidney donation, which included some snacks, a very wonderful knit kidney to replace the one I had donated, and proceeded to give me a knit liver as well. So Kendall Kidney and Liam Liver accompany me at my desk at work, and I'm very grateful for that friendship and support. He's actually really become one of my best friends. So it's amazing what donation can spark. I had two incredible kidney donation coordinators at the two transplant centers I worked with. So this is me with Mel, who took me through the process at UW Health in Madison. The donor coordinator is kind of your point of contact at the hospital. Unofficial title is, therapist and sounding board and hand holder and all of that. Part of the process for me was they had a match for me, someone who was going to be my kidney recipient, and then for whatever reason that match fell through. And at this point I was so invested, I was devastated. And, she was just there. She had to break the news, but then there to just sort of sit and let me process all that for a couple minutes over the phone. Her response time was nothing short of extraordinary. The fastest time she ever got back to me in an email was under a minute, which I certainly don't expect from anybody, but was very grateful at the time. And I thought nothing could replace her, but when I decided I needed to maybe go to a bigger center to donate part of my liver, I was matched up with Eileen here as my donor coordinator. And she definitely can't replace Mel, but is extraordinary in her own way. An amazing ball of energy. And one of the most amazing things she did was I came back from the hospital and was sitting in the hotel accommodations after the liver donation. And I don't learn, you really shouldn't get ahead of yourself checking my chart. You should always just kind of wait for some interpretation, but burp, hi, your gallbladder, which they had to remove, it was in the way as part of the process. Your gallbladder has been autopsied, and we found that it was inflamed. Oh my God, what does that mean? Oh my gosh, I said God in church like that. I'm so sorry. So I'm like, Eileen, what does this mean? Was the liver still usable? Is everything okay? And she gets back to me. I get back out of the hospital on a Friday. I message her on a Saturday. She gets back to me within the hour and goes, no, you're okay. What you've got is a 2-for-1 special. Gallbladder needed to come out anyways. And we just took care of that for you as part of the process. So but we're going to go back now. Finally, we get back to Greg here. Meeting my recipient. I never got to meet my kidney recipient. I hope that person's doing okay. But meeting my liver recipient was just an extraordinarily beautiful moment, and really kind of had me realize, wow, I participated in a miracle here, and how can you not be grateful for that? And really, for me, it kind of goes back to this quote that, I think every quote has been disputed at this point. So Albert Einstein probably said, there are only two ways to live your life. One is though nothing is a miracle. The other as though everything is a miracle. And being part of a miracle, I definitely reject the idea that nothing is a miracle. I think, also being beside someone as they're passing away it's a dreadful thing, but it's also a miracle. I've never experienced it, but I'm sure childbirth is also a miracle. So I definitely reject that nothing is a miracle. Do I think that everything is a miracle? Well, darn near. And I'm actually quite thankful for that little intro video, because it kind of started out where I'm kind of ending up. That while this extraordinary process of just everything falling into place and recovery going smooth and kind of experiencing it as sort of a time-lapse photography of, wow, now I can walk 2 miles today, and now I can walk 70% of my normal speed, and which results are not typical. Some people do get very depressed after donation because the road to recovery is a couple months of taking it slow. But you can have all that, and it's wonderful, and you also equally don't need all that, because 6 months later you're back to the daily grind, and you need to slow down again and remember that, hey, I got up this morning, I turned on the light switch, and the light came on. Wow. A miracle, right? I jumped in the car, and the car started for most of you, you got here. That's a miracle. So gratitude is definitely not a cure-all. I feel a little bit like a hypocrite because I spent kind of a bit of yesterday afternoon in a bit of a depressive state. But when you've achieved a nice baseline already, gratitude really does take you, I think, to that next level of, wow, this was a good, meaningful, wonderful week, because I did take time to kind of stop and notice the wonderful things that are part of everyday life. So I guess that's my message of gratitude in all of this, and thank you very much for listening.